So finals are up on us, and I know some of you guys have already started with your finals or you're about to start your finals. Hence, I wanted to release this video on a Monday for that hashtag Monday motivation to get you started on actually creating a study plan that's simple and easy to use, but also just to motivate you guys to get started on that final exam preparation, because I know we are all so exhausted. We just don't have, that final push in us. So I'm hoping that this video motivates you. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to create a simple, straightforward study plan. I'm also going to be giving you some principles that you need to follow when creating any study plan. And then at the end, I'm going to give you tips on how to make sure that you are successful in your study plans. Please note that when creating the study schedule, you should not be writing notes at this point. You should not be making cue cards, summary sheets, and all of that. Everything regarding that should have been done during the semester. At this point, you're just making sure that you're understanding the full topic or the full syllabus, and then using your cue cards and summary sheets to be able to revise the information so that you're using active recall, and then also doing your past papers. So number one, you need to minimize your procrastination and maximizing your study time. So you need to make sure that you're removing all distractions. If you can get rid of your phone, making sure that you're using the right space and the right time period for you to study so that you're as productive as possible. And the second thing is you need to manage your stress levels. If you're overly stressed, overly overwhelmed, it's going to be very difficult for you to focus on what you are studying. As a result, the study plan is meant to help you to decrease that stress level, because you're actually structuring on when you're meant to study what, so that you're not overwhelmed with the amount of information that you're meant to be putting together. If you're still overwhelmed by the amount of content that you're meant to cover, I would suggest that you put a group of friends together and you guys create a mind map of the amount of topics or the different sub-themes of each topic. Say, for example, the topic is qualitative research, and under qualitative research you need to know about the collection methods or methodology that you need to be using regarding qualitative research. Then you've got your sampling methods, and then you've got your philosophical assumptions. So there's different themes regarding that topic. So if you can map it out and highlight the most important things regarding what your lecturer said was important, if you have that mind map, it makes life so much easier for you, and you actually know where you're meant to start with your studying. So the equipment that you're going to need is, you're going to need a list of the topics that you're meant to be studying. So this is for my psychiatric module, and this is for my research module. These are the only two modules where I have theory exam. I do have a practical one, but it's like 3 things that I need to know, so I'm not going to focus on that. And also you're going to need a calendar to jot down what day you're meant to be studying what, so that you're a bit more organized. You can make it digital or write on paper, or you can even make it in this way, where you write down day 1, day 2, day 3, until whatever, how many days you have until your study period. So I have 19 days from the 17th of October until the 7th of November, which is when I have my last exam. So I'm going to use this paper as an example of the calendar that you're meant to have. So I've written down day 1 up until day 19, and I've written down all the days that I'm available to study. So all my Saturdays are out, because I don't do any work on Saturday because I'm at church. And then the first step that you need to do is you need to write down the days where you're doing your exams, so that you know what your end point is. I know that my psychiatric exam is on the 3rd of November, and I know that my research exam is on the 7th of November. The second step is you need to cut off 2 days before each exam for you to do your past papers. You can use 1 day, but I preferably like to use 2 days. On the first day, I will do all my past papers, and if I feel like something still needs to be revised, I still have the following day to revise and do damage control in a sense, and I still have that day to do more past papers. So for example, I've got my research exam on the 7th of November, so I've cut off the 4th and the 5th for me to do past papers. So once I've blocked out the days that I need to do past papers, I need to count how many days I have until I write a specific exam. So for example, if I start from the first day that I have to study until 2 days before I have to study my psychiatric exam, I actually have 13 days for me to study. If I do the same thing for research, I actually have 16 days. For psychiatric, I've got 8 topics that I need to study, and then for research, I've got 4 topics that I need to study. For research, there's actually about 6 topics that I have to study, but 4 of them can actually be grouped into 2 and 2. So if you can do that for some of your topics that are small, it makes your life easier because you've got more days that you can use to study, because some topics are honestly either they're simple or they're very short and they don't require you to have a full day for you to study a small topic. So then the following step that you need to do is you need to take the number of topics that you have divided by the number of days that you have to study for that module until when the exam falls into place, and then that will give you the amount of topics that you meant to study on a specific day. For example, with psychiatric nursing, I've got 8 topics in 13 days. That gives me less than 1 topic to study on a day. So that means I can spread out my studying a bit more. And then if I do the same thing with research, I've got 4 topics out of 16 days. So that means I've got a quarter of a topic to cover on a day. As you can see with my study schedule, it's quite wide and it gives me a lot of flexibility. So what I do when I'm structuring my study schedule is that I put the topic, and then the following day I dedicate it to do cue cards, and the following day I do another topic and then cue cards. But the second day, when I'm doing the second topic, before I start that topic, I need to make sure that I have reviewed the topic from the first day. For example, with my first 4 days, on the first day I'm doing intellectual disabilities. In the second day, I am doing my cue cards for intellectual disability. Then on day 3, I'm doing childhood illnesses, but I need to make sure that I've done my cue cards of intellectual disability on day 3 before I start the topic of childhood illnesses. And then on day 4, I do my cue cards for childhood illnesses and intellectual diseases, and then I carry on doing that for every single day, so that you make sure that you're revising the previous day or days' work before you start a new topic. This is to make sure that you're refreshing the topic before you go forward. So once you've done that, perfect, you've created your study plan and it's perfect. It won't always be as straightforward as that. Sometimes you just have to shuffle a few things around or do 2 topics in a row without going through the cue cards, whatever, but that is the general principle of how to create the study plan. So some points that you need to be aware of with the study plan and going into your whole study schedule is, number 1, you need to be aware of where you are placing certain topics. So for example, in the first week of my study plan, I actually still have 3 days of placement. So I can't put content heavy or hard topics in that week because the time that I have is not as adequate. As a result, in that week, I've put small, short, easy to understand topics, so that because of the busyness of that week, I can still study, but it doesn't require a lot of energy from me. Compared to the second and third week, where I've got a full day to study, as a result, I can put content heavy topics in those weeks. And also, I know my Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, my brain is quite active. So all the hard topics, I make sure that I schedule them on those days, and then later on in the week I put something that's a bit more chilled because I'll be getting tired and that sort of thing. And also, you need to be aware of the time requirements for each topic, because some topics would require you to have a full day, whereas some topics would require you to have half a day. As a result, on those days you can put 2 or even 3 topics on that day. So just be aware of that. Even though the formula says that you need to put 2 topics or 1 topic per day, if the topic is short, simple, and you know that you're good at it, you can schedule more days into those days so that you still have extra time at the end for you to review, do past papers, and that sort of thing. The second tip that I can give you is it's important that you group similar topics together, because usually those topics link to one another. It's either the one topic is a foundation of the second topic, or some of the themes covered in one topic are in another one. So it's great that if you can group them together, then you can create those relationships and those comparisons. And it's also good for you for exam purposes, because sometimes it can actually make you compare those 2 different topics. So if you link them together and you're studying them in the same time period, it makes it easier for you to make those connections. The third tip, I've already mentioned it. Before you study any new topic, you always go back to the topics that you did previously, review them. That's why it's important for you to have cue cards, so that you're not going through papers and papers of information. You quickly go through your cue cards and you move on to the next topic. Remember, I say that you have a review day and then you've got a cue card or a summary sheet day. So you need to know that your review sessions is a period for you to gather all the information about that topic. So during the semester, you have created somewhat of a document or notes of some sort where you're combining PowerPoint notes, what the lecturer is saying and what the textbook is saying into one. If you haven't done that, I guess this could be the time for you to combine everything, but it is going to be a very time consuming day for you. But let's say you have this document that has all this information, so you're covering all the information that you need to know. In all of that information, there's going to be examples, there's going to be stories, there's going to be a lot of extra information that you do not need to know. Whereas your cue cards, essentially when you create your cue cards, they need to be questions or phrases or triggers that might be asked in an exam. So your cue cards sort of give you a template of how your exam is going to turn out. As a result, all those examples and stories and whatnot are not going to be in your cue cards. As a result, you need to know the background information of your topic, but your cue card is just for you to focus on the content that is going to be asked in the exam. So that's why you only need one review day for everything, so that you have the background knowledge, but your cue cards are going to be the most important because they only cover the content that will be in the exam. And how you know that content, you can browse through past papers to see the type of questions that are asked, but also if you focus in class and during revision sessions, there's a lot of topics or a lot of points that are highlighted that you can use as questions or as triggers to create your cue cards. So I really hope that this video was useful to you guys, so that you are aware of how to create a study plan, because you actually need that study plan to create some structure in your life, so that you're not just sitting and you don't know where to actually start with your studying. It actually motivates you, because you know you're only dealing with small chunks than trying to deal with all the information all at once. So good luck guys for your final exams, and I'm super excited for my final exams because it's my last exams at university level at this current stage. So I'm super excited. So I hope it all goes well for you guys. So until next week Friday, have an awesome one. Bye guys.